Wednesday would be fun. Jake, after 17 years, we're eliminating your position, Daniel said flatly. Clean out your desk by the end of the day. My name is Jake Wilson. I'm 54. Until that Monday morning, I was the senior systems analyst at Meridian Technologies in Columbus, Ohio, a role I'd held for nearly 2 decades. I was there through dial-up and cloud migration, outlasting 3 CEOs. I trained every new hire, recovered every lost file, and worked through weekends and holidays without ever asking for recognition. So when Daniel called me into his office, with Vanessa from HR already seated, I knew. I'd felt it coming for weeks. I understand completely, I said, nodding once. Then I walked out. No anger, no pleading, just quiet resignation. Back at my desk, younger employees shot me quick glances before pretending to refocus on their screens. Most of them were coders I'd trained myself. Smart kids, but they didn't know half of what ran under the hood. The systems were stitched. Together with custom software and old frameworks, only I knew how to navigate. No one else had the admin credentials buried 3 layers deep. I packed slowly, family photo, a coffee mug my son made in high school, the cactus that somehow survived. 17 years of fluorescent lighting? Bethany from marketing stopped by, face drawn. Jake, I just heard. This is ridiculous. You built this place. I shrugged. Companies change direction. But with no warning? After everything you've done? It's fine, I said quietly. It wasn't. But I wasn't going to make a scene. As I walked out, Daniel stepped from his office. No handshake, no goodbye, just watching, making sure I actually left. What none of them had noticed, what they never bothered to learn, was that over time, I'd become the most critical person in the entire building. Not because I was special, because I was thorough. I built audit protocols for the legal team during a past scandal. I documented everything. I even kept backups in my car. I sat behind the wheel, looking at the 12-story building where I'd spent most of my adult life. My security badge, renewed 16 times, now sat useless on the passenger seat. I started. The engine. They had no idea. Wednesday would be fun. I'd joined Meridian when it was just 2 floors in a business park. My daughter Olivia was in kindergarten. Now she was finishing grad school. Through 3 acquisitions and a dozen corporate pivots, I stayed. Turned down job offers out of loyalty. My wife Andrea used to joke the servers were my second family. She wasn't wrong. I knew every system, every workaround, every forgotten backdoor. Then Daniel showed up 5 years ago, a young MBA with buzzwords like digital transformation and future-proofing. He called our department IT, resources, not people. 6 months ago, he brought in a consultant, Jason Phillips, Stanford degree, expensive suit, LinkedIn perfect. They started holding closed-door meetings, whispering whenever I walked past. 3 months ago, my access permissions started changing, quietly, subtly. Fewer administrative controls, fewer project emails. Younger analysts were handed tasks I used to lead. I could have spoken up. I didn't. I watched. One day, I found a company-wide modernization memo I'd never seen before. My name. Not on the new org chart. Jason Phillips was listed as head of the new IT division. That same day, during a routine security scan, something no one else ran anymore, I found something strange. Regular payments to a vendor called Apex Solutions Group seemed normal until I checked the address, a UPS store. The payments started. Small, then grew. I said nothing, just took notes, copied files, kept watching. People overlook the quiet guy in the corner. That's their mistake. The morning after I was let go, I sat in my home office. No alarm, no commute, just silence. Andrea brought me coffee, setting it down gently. She didn't say anything. After she left, I pulled a flash drive from my desk, one of several. Years ago, the legal team signed off on off-site backups for security. They forgot. I didn't. I plugged it in. There it was. A full record of payments to Apex. Parsers, $8 million over 18 months. The approvals traced straight to our CFO, Brian Wilcox. I dug deeper. The owner of Apex? Thomas Wilcox, Brian's brother-in-law. The payments matched inflated software license renewals, legitimate expenses, just padded by 15–20%, small enough to hide, large enough to matter. My phone buzzed. A text from Stephen, a junior analyst I mentored. Sorry about yesterday, BS. What they did. Phillips is already in your old office. I didn't reply. The pieces were falling into place. Daniel and Brian needed me gone before I could connect the dots. They thought deleting my account deleted the evidence. They didn't know me at all. Wednesday morning, I parked across the street from Meridian HQ. My laptop was logged into an internal-looking email account, one I'd created for security testing years ago, invisible to the directory. At 9:15 a.m., I sent an email to Daniel. Subject line, financial irregularities, urgent review needed, just enough to stir panic, not enough to reveal my hand. At 9:45, my phone rang. Daniel. I let it go to voicemail. Jake, we need to discuss your email immediately. Call me back. I didn't. At 10:30, an email from Vanessa in HR arrived. We've received concerning communication that may violate your separation agreement. Please cease all contact with Meridian employees. Funny, I never signed one. By noon, I was at the bank. My safe deposit box held an older backup, one with original security protocols showing exactly who accessed what and when. Brian Wilcox had requested expanded financial system access 18 months ago. Right on cue. Back home, 3 missed calls. Daniel, Vanessa, now Jason. Jason getting involved? That was new. Stephen emailed me again. They're saying you sent some crazy email about fraud, emergency meeting. They're pulling your access, even to historical files. What's going on? I replied. Don't get involved, Stephen. Just watch. At 3 p.m., the landline rang, a number I hadn't used for work in years. I answered, but stayed silent. Jake, it's Brian Wilcox. We should talk. I think there's been a misunderstanding. Is that what you're calling it? Look, he said smoothly. These transitions are hard. If you have concerns, the board is the right channel. The board is the channel. He paused. We can make this right. Severance, references, whatever you need. Goodbye, Brian, I said, and hung up. 10 minutes later, another email from Vanessa. My severance had doubled, with an attached NDA. They wanted me gone, silent, forgotten. But they forgot the one thing that mattered most. I don't just build systems. I know how they break. And by next week, the board would too. The quiet rebuild. They were scrambling now, but they still thought this was a simple extortion attempt. They had no idea what was coming. Thursday morning brought clarity. I'd spent the night digging deeper, connecting dots I'd previously overlooked. Turns out the Apex scheme wasn't Brian Wilcox's first creative accounting project. 3 years ago, just after he became CFO, another pattern emerged. Consulting. Fees paid to a firm called Lakeside Business Solutions. Different name, same game. Inflated invoices for services either partially rendered or not at all. The firm's registration, Patricia Wilcox, Brian's wife. CEO of a company with no website, no employees, and a virtual office address. But the real gut punch came in the emails. Daniel hadn't just known about the schemes. He'd helped facilitate them. In exchange, his department's budget grew while others were cut. He'd been brought in after the previous director started asking questions about IT spending. Even Jason Phillips had ties. His firm was hired through back channels that bypassed procurement entirely. He wasn't brought in to modernize anything. He was there to eliminate the one person who might notice what was really going on. Me. The whole thing was elegantly simple. Create shell vendors. Approve inflated payments. Split the difference. And since the services technically were provided, just at marked-up rates, auditors looking for fully fraudulent charges wouldn't catch it. Over 3 years, nearly $4. $3 million was siphoned. I compiled everything: spreadsheets, emails, business registrations, timelines. Then I made a move they wouldn't expect. I called Robert Chen, a board member I'd worked with years ago during a security implementation. Semi-retired now, but still sharp. "Jake Wilson," he said when he answered. "Heard you left Meridian." "Not exactly by choice," I said. "I need 15 minutes. It's important." Pause. Then, "This about why Brian and Daniel looked like ghosts at the board meeting yesterday?" I smiled. "Probably." An hour later, we met in a quiet park outside the city. I handed him a sealed envelope and a flash drive. "I'm not looking for my job back," I said. "Not looking for money. I just want the right people to see this." He flipped through the summary. "Why me?" "Because you read audit reports. I've watched you in meetings. You ask the right questions." He nodded slowly. "Emergency Finance Committee review tomorrow. Convenient timing." He slipped the envelope into his briefcase. "If this checks out, there will be consequences. I'm counting on it." That afternoon, I got 2 job offers, both from competitors. Both for positions above my old one. Substantial bonuses included. I ignored them. This wasn't about a new job. This was about finishing something. That night, I accessed Meridian's email system one final time, using credentials that should have been revoked but hadn't been. Sloppy work, Jason. I scheduled a message to every board member to be delivered 8 a.m. sharp the next morning. "Before you approve Q2 bonuses, read this. Attached, everything. Friday morning, clear skies, hot coffee." I sat on my porch and waited. At exactly 8 a.m., the email went out. By 8:17, the calls started. Board assistants, unknown numbers. I let them all go to voicemail. At 9 about, the emergency committee meeting began. At 9:32, Stephen texted, "Police are here. Wilcox and Daniel being questioned. Phillips looks sick. What did you do?" I didn't reply. At 10 a.m., Meridian's general counsel finally called. "Mr. Wilson, this is Patricia Graves. We need you to come in immediately to discuss." "I'm available by phone," I said. "This requires an in-person discussion." "No, it doesn't," I replied calmly. "Everything I know is in the report. Everything I have is backed, up in multiple locations. If anything happens to me or my family, copies go to the SEC, IRS, and 3 newsrooms." Silence. "The board is taking this very seriously," she finally said. "Executives have been placed on administrative leave. They appreciate your cooperation." "I've already cooperated," I said. "My part's done." Then I drove to a diner 20 miles outside Columbus. No reason to be easy to find. By 2 p.m., the news broke. Meridian Technologies executives under investigation for financial irregularities. Names weren't listed yet, but they would be. At 2:15, Robert called. "It's a bloodbath," he said. "Brian confessed, tried to pin it all on Daniel. Daniel's denying everything. Phillips claims he was just a consultant. The board isn't buying it. All 3 suspended. And Jake, we want you back." I raised an eyebrow. "Not just your old job," he said. "We're creating a Chief Information Security Officer role, executive level, reports directly to the board." I'd prepared for this possibility, but I still paused. "I'll think about it." That night, I told Andrea everything. She listened, then asked,